Welcome to Adventure Bear. Beautiful day today. We are going for a ride. We are not on the Bear today. They were on the GS. It's been neglected. I've been riding the shit out of the Bear, so today we're going to cruise over Nebraska-Iowa border, get on the river road, cruise through the Loess hills. I got a little pavement to get there, so catch up with you. We are right at the base of the Loess hills right now. You can kind of see this is one of my favorite roads, called Bluff Road. Kind of weaves through the hills here, but the Loess hills are kind of an interesting formation, I guess. Specific to Iowa, it only happens two places in the world. Western Iowa, right here on the border, and somewhere in China. And so I grew up just east of here, so I've been familiar with the Loess hills my whole life. It's spelled L-O-E-S-S, but it's pronounced Loess, like L-U-S-S. So it runs about, I think, 200 miles from about Sioux City, Iowa, down into northern Missouri, right by St. Joe. If I remember right, they're 12 to 15,000 years ago. I guess the glaciers that passed through ground the silt into this fine powder that they call loess, and then over thousands of years the wind deposited it here in these hills. So it's one of my favorite day rides. There's just some really nice highways that weave in and out of the hills, and it's interesting. Doesn't take long to get here from my place. I live in Nebraska now, and it's not too far outside of Lincoln, so it's about a 30-minute ride to get over here. But we just crossed the Missouri River. Of course, you can see this flat river valley that we're in. And you can stay on the Nebraska side and go north all the way up to Sioux City if you want, and then just cruise through the hills for a couple hundred miles, really, if you wanted to. And it's just state roads, narrow 2-lane. It's pretty nice. So let's get going. Vonsey State Park. Really nice state park. I come up here pretty often. In fact, if I do this as a day ride, I almost always come up here. There's a viewpoint up here. Just a nice place to take a break. Never camped here. There is a campground back there. I don't know where the tent camping is, to be honest with you. But the RV site's back there, and then they've got some cabins up here. Little day areas. There's never anybody up here. I've seen some cars come up and turn around, like, oh, there's a car here. Fall is the best time to be up here. It is spectacular when the trees are changing. Some hiking trails down through here. Everything's just starting to turn green. It is April 18th? 19th? Back on the bluff road. So we'll follow the base of the hills here. Dump us out in Hamburg. Giant metropolis of Hamburg. So the bike I'm on is a 2009 F650GS. It's actually an 800 twin. Why they named it an F650, I don't know. It's a BMW thing, I guess. But Pheasant. It's got right around about 78,000 on it. I have had zero problems with it. I love this bike. Been tempted a few times to look at something else. Himalayan, the Ibex. Right now the KLE looks super interesting. Kind of fits my style of riding. Done a couple VDRs. Wyoming 2 years ago. Black Hills 2 years ago as well, and this bike just gets it done. I'll have to pry this bike out of my cold dead hands probably. It doesn't weigh as much as you'd think. I think it's listed at 435 wet, and some of these 450s are coming in pretty close to that. I think the Himalayan's 415-ish. Like, how do you stuff an 800cc and end up pretty close to the same weight? And it'll cruise on the highway or the interstate if you want to at 80, 90, 100. It really doesn't matter. Bike doesn't care. It's getting up there in miles. I don't know what the road taxes go for. They're pretty bulletproof. They're noisy. They're a loud engine, but I've done nothing but change the oil in it and plugs, filter, and It's just super comfortable to ride. Suspension's pretty cushy. The bike's bone stock except for it's got an aftermarket Hagon rear shock with a remote adjuster. Other than that, it's just like it came from BMW, I guess. Got a trip planned to Utah in the 1st of June. Gonna be riding out there, leaving on Friday the 5th, I think it is. And I don't ride the freeways. I stay on the back roads. A road like this is perfect. Well, we're gonna go to Moab. I've been there before, never on a motorcycle. I've mountain biked there a few times. I've been down there 4 times back in my Jeep days. So this will be the first trip on an actual motorcycle, so looking forward to that. Gonna be camping, no hotels, so that should be a good time. And we almost got it. My tires I'm running are Hyde now K60 Scouts. I put them on 2 years ago before I left for the Wyoming BDR, and I rode there and back, and I never trailered it. We have a trailer, but kind of want to ride it. So I don't know how many, I haven't kept track of the miles, but I commute on this bike too. I got a 15 mile, well, about a 30 mile round trip commute to work, and in the summertime, unless it's raining, I commute. And this is going on year 3 with these tires, and I'm going to leave them on and probably change them out when I get back from Utah. We'll see. I have 0 complaints with them. Road manners are good. I got into some mud on the Wyoming BDR a little bit, nothing terrible, but they've done fine in the mud, sand, gravel. 0 complaints. I don't know if I'll stick with these or I'll try something different. We'll see when the time comes. High Creek Baptist Church. $18.81 is what it says. Pretty darn cool. Stored in 1990. This place could talk, right? Cemetery on the hill. I don't know. Something about this is really cool. I'd like to fly the drone here. I have it with me.